Hello and welcome to the Lust Loop, where karmic connections are made. I have been in a karmic connection for a minute, way longer than what I thought, because overall I have like two relationships that it's the same energy but two different people. So what I thought was my karmic connection was really the second part of the karmic connection. So it's been a long time, and the more I try to dive into it and understand it and understand it, the more energy gets thrown at me, we'll put it like that. And currently, I'm at a point where I'm really getting bombarded with the energies of wanting me to feel like, you know, what is it? It's the energy like trying to weigh me down, right? With thoughts that I know aren't mine. And it's not even necessarily thoughts. I'm more of an emotion type of person that I feel over like hearing. I don't beat myself up a lot in my head, but I do know that I will feel that weight, that I don't want to say dread, but I feel it more than I think it. So I figured I would jump on here and just make a video for anybody who is going through it at the same time as me. You know, it's April 5th, it's Easter. And I don't know if that's got something to do with it too, because back in the day, my family was very Easter oriented. We were every holiday oriented. You know, nothing, no holiday went by without us getting together, you know, and always having the same meals every single holiday, every single year. So, and things have been different for a while, but you always kind of go back there on holidays. You always kind of, your mind will drift to Easter's before, even back in your childhood. At least it does for me. You know, not a whole bunch of them, but and I really didn't think too much about it today until I talked to my oldest. And she was like, she got good candy. They were making a ham later, and she doesn't know if the Easter egg hunt started. And as soon as I read ham, I'm back in my mom's kitchen, you know, looking at this ham. We did ham on Easter and Christmas, and obviously turkey on Thanksgiving. But and as a woman, that's what you did. You know, you were kitchen help basically. So holidays carry a weight with them all and of their own, you know, on top of like everyday weight and just planetary things and the world and how everything's going with that. uh, the energy is very heavy in this, in the direction of, you know, okay, so the question is, do you buy into it or do you not? You know, do you let those feelings almost consume you, which we shouldn't. I think just sometimes it just happens, like when the shock value of everything. I was writing about shock today too. You know, I know you don't know that. I gotta quit saying it, but I was, and I was trying to feel shock. What I was thinking about was I'm writing in this book called The Life Designer. Okay, and it asks you to write out all the events that took place in your life, good and bad, that were significant, and then what the impact was. And when I was in 4th grade, my oldest brother went crazy on Christmas Day outside our trailer park home and was hogtied in the snow. And I remember seeing all of this. He showed up and he thought he killed somebody. Took me out to his car, getting the presents. And at some point in the midst of this, he tells me, it's either him or it was years later down the road. No, I think it was a while later, that when we went out to get the presents, he thought that there was going to be body parts in them. So he's tweaked out, right? And I'm in 4th grade, and I wanted a Dr. Dreadful set because they were so cool. And I got it all set up, and he was like brought him into my room to show him, and he was like just on edge. So, Christmas Day. Our holidays were, I wouldn't say never the same because they kind of went back to the same old thing, but like after that one, they definitely left a mark. But the shock of it, trying to write in words, this descriptive feeling and then connect with it, and shock, it almost like it pierces, it goes through your whole body. It's like a instantaneous, it's almost like our bodies try to numb it right away, or like try to shut it down right away. At least it does in mine, from what I'm remembering, because I've always been detached. The more I think about things like in connecting emotionally, I've always had boyfriends, okay, but I wonder sometimes, was that just because I was a girl and I was supposed to have a boyfriend, you know? And I've loved and I've felt heartbroken before, but I've always been able to get over those boys a lot easier. It wasn't until the last 2 relationships that took me a long time to move through. So I've always been like able to move on quickly. And these last 2 has been harder. But shock. It'll leave you powerless for a second. Like, and that's what this whole world seems to be. Shock. I know that it's possible to not let anything really phase you, but I'm trying to think about my responses to things. Those moments of impact. Things that we don't even really take into consideration as moments that really matter. Those are the moments when decisions are made that do matter. Okay? When you get the feeling, whatever it is, just being sent to you almost. Because that's all we are. Okay, so we're like channels, basically. We are the receiver. We all got this little antenna in our head, basically. The brain is a hell of a thing. And you receive messages, you receive energy, and that energy can be ideas. They can be things that come along after a feeling is felt too, maybe. If you feel that shock, then that allows an energy in that wasn't able to before because you've now experienced that. I'm just rambling at this point. I do a lot of, I guess you'd call it some contemplation. But there are rules to all of this. There are basic foundation building blocks to all of this. And I'm finding it a bit complicated. Or am I? Because sometimes all of a sudden I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, even though I am at all times. The feeling of it. I think there are also just a lot of forces that try to pull on us constantly, and right now especially, it's like they're coming mad hard. So if you're experiencing this, no, you're not alone. I'd love to hear people's commentary. They're kind of going through the same. I would think so. There's just too much wild shit online, and not even online, in the news bracket of things we're supposed to be informed of, like worldly events. We're all over the place. So then you want to come down. That's the macro. Yeah, and then this is the micro. That macro is like, in that big world of things, there's me, who's got this whole crazy situation taking place where I have a neighbor who just hangs out in my attic. And I believe he's been paid by my ex to do this. And he's a hacker. He hacks into all my devices. And I've got evidence in all of this that's taken a while to acquire. But, and I've also had to acquire this like mental state of being like okay when all this shit is taking place, because otherwise, like, I believe this has all been started so that I could be pushed to frenzy or mania by these folk to benefit my baby's father, who he's just one of those kind of guys. And I'm not going to sit here and say horrible things about him because he's not here to defend himself. But I can describe, we'll just say he's just one of those kind of guys. We have a connection that I feel like he has imprinted on me his angst for his mother. And me and his mother share the same birthday. So that right there, hindsight, right? If I knew what I knew now, I would have been like, oh, we should not do this. Because there's always not always, but we all got our own parental and maternal wounding. And how we choose to sift through that, everybody's unique. And this is, I wouldn't say it's a unique approach. I think this would be a normal kind of thing that takes place in a lot of relationships if they share the same birthday and the extent of trauma that's taken place between the mother and the son. So I don't think it's out of the ordinary in our bracket, in the group of people that I belong to. But the extremes that have been taken to achieve certain goals, primarily custody of my daughter, they are not just extreme, but at times, you just, morally, they're not right. And this is something I've had to deal with from the moment I left. We broke up in 2017, December. Things got physical. And I chose not to go back. I And that just shocks me in itself because it's about our daughter, right? And like what's best for her. And like I believe she should not. What do I want her to do if that situation happened? I don't want her to go back. So I felt like I had to demonstrate that. What's crazy about this is, let's talk energy like not transmutation, but like when you, okay, there's the saying, like they put hands on me, I mean somebody touches them, then like a spirit, Holy Spirit, whatever, can travel through a person to another, which I 110% believe is a thing. I saw it take place right in front of me between the two, the ex baby daddy and my ex now husband. I'll try to make this quick, but I got a lot of stories. This one's probably one of the wildest because the more I look at it, the more I'm like, this is obviously what took place. So it's Friday night. I'm with my ex-husband, who was at that point my boyfriend, and we are hanging out. He's in the shower. His son's there. We had like maybe 1 or 2 beers, maybe. And somebody knocks at the door. At this time, me and my ex-baby daddy, I still had a lot of, he was basically just like hunting me. It's the best way I can put it. So you can understand like he was hunting me. He was looking for me, and he had no reason to. He had my daughter for a good period of time at that point where he had taken her and not given her back. We were not good, and I got panicked when he was around. So he knocks on the door. I go and get my then boyfriend. He opens the door in a towel, and words were exchanged that were aggressive and threatening to one another. And then voices were raised and more rude things said, which I believe in that moment, baby daddy triggered boyfriend. By allowing that to happen, by baby daddy triggering the angst and anger emotion from boyfriend, that opens the doorway for whatever is residing in this person to get into him. When the door closed, boyfriend was pissed at me. And that was the first night that like I ran to the bedroom because I was kind of scared of what was about to happen. While he chased me. And then I think I locked the door. Somehow he got in. He ended up coming in the bedroom and like hit himself in the face. And the more I think about that, it's like my ex baby daddy despised this dude because we were together. And I could totally see that energy, like having it been enraged in my ex baby daddy at some point, entering my boyfriend and like hitting him in the face. Like it was like that. It's like baby daddy is hitting boyfriend in the face. Like it was weird. Weird. Weird, weird. I ended up getting all my stuff together that night, walked out of there. We're in the country. Walked out of there and was like, nope. And he still, to this day, won't really admit what took place and that he got out of control. But I think that's when this whole, it became a part of him too and started to ruin our relationship. It already had its kinks in it, but I think that most definitely and amplified the negativity. And then at some point, like, I believe he's let this thing in completely to where he doesn't, both of them just aren't who they were. Now, we all change, don't get me wrong, but I think that it's just like they've gone dark. And here I sit with my dark clothes on, like I love black. This is my thing. I look kind of rough today. but I don't care at the end of the day because this is me, tried and true. Got some crazy hair under here, you know, but it's darkness, and it's sad to see. And like, okay, so then the point, what it feels like to me in this karmic connection is like that energy wants to keep this going. And like is attacking me to make me feel all these things about being down and stuff. And if you are feeling these things, I believe that's what it is. And I hope that you are able to raise your vibes and your frequency and start laughing a little bit. I need to watch something that's funny for sure and laugh and elevate. Continue to get rest. I hope you're like, so I'm having a hard time with my routines. Getting back into that and getting some consistency under your belt because that's what's required. So I'm gonna leave this here. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Good luck out there.